G'day guys, it's Calvin from the Couching Company in New Zealand. I'm sitting down doing yet another loom, just a normal day here in my garage, set up as a bit of a wiring space away from the main workshop. I get more done when I'm here and less interruptions, and it's quite a nice little spot to work from. The loom I've got in front of me is from a guy in Palmerston North. And I managed to catch up with him the other day for the drifting. He'd actually sent me 2 wiring looms. So I opened the box and I removed the first wiring loom, and I'm part way through that. But then when I was chatting to him, he said he wanted the other wiring loom, and they're not the same. Number 1's going into a Studebaker. Number 2, this one, is going into a VL Commodore. Very first thing I do when I get any loom is I give it a visual and a check over. I've also started opening up the ECUs to have a look. This one was interesting because the screws were actually a little bit loose already, indicating someone might have been there. And there's actually some new capacitors. There's a little bit of cleaning on some of the traces. You probably can't see it, but there are some trace repairs. So this ECU has had some repairs. So I'll put it back together and we will test it, of course, once the loom is done. So while I'm doing this loom, I've done zillions of videos on wiring looms, but I thought we might cover some of the questions I get asked. I get asked, do I do wiring looms? I don't quite understand this question because I've got zillions of videos of me doing wiring looms. And of course the answer is yes, I do wiring looms. I do them for both standard ECUs and aftermarket. I can make brand new from scratch, though I do a lot of refabs on standard looms. I don't have a massive range of stock ECU looms in stock, and the reason being there are a lot of them. And a lot of them I do as a fairly standard package, but often there is something that is different. And pretty much, almost on every single one, there is a peculiarity, or something has changed, or something is done slightly different to other ones. I am starting to build up a little bit of a stock of aftermarket looms, and just when I seem to get on top of them, I seem to sell them all. But they are a very good solution to a lot of jobs, mainly manual in the aftermarket that I've got in stock. Though I am just sending a Haltech Auto loom out that I happen to have. I was feeling bored and I made a spare loom, and then it sold. Now also I do sell wiring instructions for doing this exact job. Now I do sell wiring instructions to do these jobs. They do require the person who is doing the job to have some knowledge on how functions of a automotive EFI system works, and have some skills in doing the wiring themselves. I'm not teaching you how to crimp, but I'm showing good diagrams, body plugs, and a set of instructions to follow to allow you to do this job yourself. And I sell a lot of them around the world. They are distributed via a Google Drive. So no sending out a hard copy, I just send them electronically. Right, I got my ECU back together. I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to get in and pull this loom to pieces, fix it, sort it, refab it, put it back together, test it on an engine. These are my preferred loom.
Are they the ones that are easier to turbo and stuff, aren't they?
No, these ones have got pencil rods in them.
Oh, right.
But these, from a wiring point of view,
yeah,
they're actually nice and simple to work on, and to make the auto work properly, they don't need the extra speed sensors or anything like that. So there's lots of easiness about them. So that's why I prefer this particular loom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a real simple loom from my point of view.
So what have you got to do to the loom? So what is it?
I strip it right to bits.
Yeah.
I replace.
What are you taking out of it?
So traction control goes.
Yeah.
So there's a video. I've got a video on that. Okay. On how we cut this off.
Right.
So that comes out. The diagnostic box, which sits here, gets modified. This has got no EGR, which is a little strange. So I'm not sure which market this one came in, because normally they have an EGR.
Okay. That's the exhaust gas.
Yep.
Yep.
I still, even though it's got this fan, I will still have a hydraulic fan, an electric fan switch here.
I was going to say, do you think I should keep that or just get rid of them?
Mate, if you can keep this, they work really well. It's simple.
Yeah.
Real simple.
Been looking at the radiators today and rang up Phoenix agent and stuff, and he's just recommending really to just put the old Commodore one back in here, because both pipes on this side, which is not the ideal, but we'll just have to pipe it around, don't we?
VL's crossflow, isn't it?
He reckoned they were both on the driver's side, top and bottom.
There's a V8 one.
Top tank is over here.
Do the V8 one.
Eh? Do the V8 one. Oh, the
V8 crossflow.
The 308 one.
Yeah, and then bring this one. See, this fans becomes tricky then, because this one.
Yeah, I wasn't that keen on because otherwise.
To there, I do the V8 radiators, crossflow radiators
maybe I'll ask
for Hiluxes.
Yep.
And then this one would come to here.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that on the Hilux one on.
And then this one goes to that side, and it's crossflow.
Okay.
It'll keep it cool.
Which is more ideal than having one stacked on top of the other, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll work really nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it was the width thing here, the one you see, or the Sora ones are about. Let's come to about here, which means the wind's going to start hacking out.
Put a Commodore on it.
It's in there, so maybe we'll go with the V8 one style.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing is I'll run oil pressure. Oil pressure comes into the loom, so it ends up inside.
Okay.
So that stuff ends up inside.
Yep.
And then all of these connectors get replaced. Most of the transloom the connectors get replaced as required. So the wiring here, which normally comes for the airflow meter, comes along here and along here, of course.
Yes.
It's all hot. I pull it back into here.
Okay.
And you can see that's all the covering off your loom. It's just falling apart. So all that gets thrown away.
Yeah.
And then the wiring for the airflow meter and the igniters will come out here.
Okay.
So you can mount your igniters over here, airflow meter in here.
Yep.
Real simple.
Cool.
There's enough room for heater hoses even in this. Sits well off the firewall though, eh? It could do to go back another.
Yeah, well, we've literally just centered it on the crossmember from the mount that they so
yeah.
I figured that's how they must position them all. But yeah, there's lots of room in the back for those heater hoses, so we're going to be looking at getting those pretty much sorted. We've got a Demio bloody booster going in there to get rid of the old big wide ones in there. So yeah, we're just trying to marry up everything at the moment.
They need to come over this side, so yeah.
What do?
The fuel hoses.
Yeah, fuel lines we have to rerun. Yeah.
So you've done the body.
Yeah, I did the body and I had the old RB30 in it still, but it wasn't running that well. And I'm like, and I do like the sound of a V8 one of these better than a turbo RB30 kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So yeah, I could sort of spend the same money on either one of them setups, but I just like the sound of the V8, you know. So
It'll be smooth and lovely. It'll be a nice car.
yeah,
It'll be lovely.
You know, so this is Granddad's old car left when he died.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got 157,000 on the K, the clock. It's a bit more beat up than I thought it was going to be. At some stage he's been T-mode.
Oh, has it? Did he tell you?
No,
Did Granddad tell you? He never told you. No.
This pretty much didn't get used for the last one. I remember this when he was new. I remember as a kid sitting in the back and he was towing a boat and he was going up a hill and it started to slow down. And I just put my head through the seat, so I was like, Granddad, push that little orange button on the side of the gear stick there. And he pushed the power button and off he went. So, oh, that's much better.
Yeah, it'll go good.
You could tell him how to drive.
Yeah, it'll come up nice. We are connected. So the loom's fitted. The front crank loom is fitted. The air intake is fitted. I've blanked off any air leaks because this throttle body's modified. I've dropped the airflow meter, so I've taped that on. Gravity is indeed working. Lucky it's my test one. Now there is this little wire here. So that's the spare one I talked about earlier for the alternator. If we want to use the alternator, there's the 3 normal alternator wires in there. Coils and leads are on. There's the normal hookup over here. Hookup. Fuel pump. There's often normally a fan output, but on this one, the fan outputs are here. 2 fans, and the fuses for the fans are directly into the relays. We connect the ignition in that one, and then I put my earmuffs on, and I hit this one here. Right, I must remember to grab a set of oxygen sensors. So oxygen sensors are really a maintenance item and should be changed probably after about 120,000 kilometers. It makes that 100,000 k service quite expensive. This one's got the heat-proof sleeving coming down the back, both sides. And let's see, number 1 cylinder relates to bank 1 and bank number 1 sensor. There are no sub sensors, no secondary sensors. Airflow meter, the igniters must be grounded to the body or the chassis. Must be grounded. They've got to be grounded. This little sensor here, that one's for the water temp sensor for the dash. Now this is a VL Commodore, so it may need to be changed. And I'm testing idle stepper motors at the same time. This dirty, horrible thing here came off another running vehicle. Actually works perfectly well. It's worked perfectly well for the last 13 years, so it should keep working. And I've just rebuilt this one because it's off to Australia. I do have another video of showing the idle stepper motor moving, but it is important that that stepper motor, an IAC unit, does work correctly. We've got the wiring loom that's been refabbed going down the front of the engine. And of course there's new plugs on everything. We come over here, relays and fuses, pretty simple, and battery power there. We've got this dash plug, where is it? Here it is. PWR, so that's like power economy. ELS, electrical load switch. W, engine check light. H2O, that's that water temp gauge. BK, brake light, so 12 volts when you put your foot on brake. 3, that's like the overdrive, it locks it back into third. Tacho, and oil pressure. And the oil pressure just comes down here by the oil pressure sensor, and there's the oil filter housing, and there's the oil pressure switch. It's a switch, just an on off. This particular model does have a purge solenoid right here, which is required for certification over in New Zealand. There's another one over here, and that's the fuel up, so it helps with the fuel pressure regulator. Ignition power. We'll reset that idle. Doing everything that it should. So happy days for me. It's running, it's doing what it should. Tested all the stuff I needed to test, fan circuit, communication with the scan tool, and a heap of stepper motors, idle stepper motors for a couple of jobs. I've just, as I said, I've rebuilt a couple, plus I've tested a couple of second-hand ones. I got to find a tail shaft housing for this one. because this one's going to get a cable speedo for the speedo. I'll show you what I'm doing there too.